So let's look quickly though at Ayurveda, or decluttering from an Ayurvedic perspective. We did talk a little bit about what it looks like for Pitta, Vata, and Kapha. Another to quickly land on what's kind of showing up likely if you have these kinds of imbalances. If you have a lot of Vata, you might find yourself saying, like we've heard this already in the class, like I have piles of things, all the piles, I move my piles from one room to another. I don't really ever deal with it. I just move it from one space to another space to another space. And I just can't seem to find the time to deal with it. And for Vata, it's often like, I don't have the time. And also I'm very easily distracted by something else because there's so many things all going on at once in my head. And there's so many things on my list of to-dos, which is like all of us right now. This is why I think we all have Vata imbalance, especially during the winter time. So often when we're saying things like this, I don't have time, there's so much to do, I have so much stuff, I'm overwhelmed by my stuff, the feeling that's coming up is this lack of control over our environment, and it's feeding into a lack of control over our emotions, which leads to this sense of overwhelm, right? When we're saying these things in our heads or to other people, these kinds of thoughts lead to feelings of this sense of overwhelm. So you don't want your space to be a contributor of that, because then it's a trigger for anxiety, which Vatas easily suffer from. When you have a lot of Pitta, you might again be finding yourself saying, my house is tidy at first glance, I'm going, I'm always tidying up after everyone. When people come over, I want the place to be very sparkling and for everything to look like everything's in its right place, but don't open the closets or the cupboards because I've stuffed everything is hidden in behind. And the feeling that comes up often for Pittas with that is it's dampening to your confidence. And then you can have this like bubbling sense of resentment if you're feeling out of control in your environment because there's other people who are kind of making a mess all the time. Then you end up increasing your criticism levels, your judgment levels, your anger levels, and trying to control the other people in your environment because you don't feel in control of your environment yourself. And then from the Kapha perspective, Kapha is like, you want to be like really laid back, everything's good, you just want to be comfortable. So you might just say like, whatever, I let it all hang out, there's nowhere to sit, but that's fine, there's space for just me and my cat on the couch, so it's fine, and I don't want to talk about it. But this is often like a symptom or a sign that there's something deeper going on. For Kapha, it's very common to slip into feelings of depression and avoidance of situations. And so when you are trying to tell yourself that your mess doesn't bother you and you're accumulating all of these things and holding on to all of these emotions that you're avoiding releasing or expressing, then you might end up becoming more depressed or more under the weight of all of your stuff. So you can see how there's some different energies there, and I'm sure we all experience all of these things to one degree or another. Okay. Thought I was Kapha, however, I'm Pitta more in this issue, says Lenita. Yeah, I think we all have different ways that these energies show up, in the body, in the mind, in the home, in the way we communicate with our friends and our spouses. We all have all three energies in our bodies. So it's interesting to look at it from many different perspectives. So when it comes to going through the process and doing your decluttering, and you have this opportunity to add the energy that will bring balance to your home. So let's look at interior design from a doshic perspective. This is an example of a really nice Vata space. Vatas easily get cold. We need a lot of layers. We need spaces that feel cozy and grounding. It's good to have candles. It's good to have warm yellow spectrum lighting, anything that feels really comforting and grounding. Warming scents like cinnamon, spruce, any of those kind of earthy type scents. Vata is made up of the energies of air and ether. So when you have a lot of Vata in your system, like it's very easy to feel ungrounded. It's very easy to feel like you're all stuck in your head all the time. So think of colors and textures and accessories with a lot of different texture to them. You can see here there's like fur, and there's the like rattan lighting, and there's the velvet in the headboard. This is all like very grounding and supportive to Vata. Golds, warm, muted tones. You don't want anything too vibrant for Vata, because that can stimulate that overstimulated anxiety response in a Vata. Something that is interesting is in the last, the trend is starting to change now to more of this like bohemian style interior design, but for the last good decade or so, the trend in interior design has been very cool, like cool light blues, blue greens, gray scheme, white, gray, white, light blue, and maybe like some sand, like beach vibes, right? Beautiful and very Vata increasing. And especially in the winter time, when like our relationship to the sun is a little bit different in the winter time. So like even when you look out at the sky, like it looks white. Everything looks cold and white. And my house is this light blue scheme, color scheme, and it's very light, which is very Pitta decreasing. It's great, but I have tons of windows and it's cold. My house is cold. I'm walking around with wool socks and slippers and a sweater and a scarf on and a hat on inside my house. Even though it's 73 degrees in here, it feels cold. I have a chill because my environment is cold, cold, cold everywhere I look. So even though I'm Pitta predominant, that increases the sense of Vata in my body, and I'm starting to get dry. I'm like thirsty all the time. I'm sipping my hot water because I have a Vata imbalance from the season. So thankfully, we have this new trend where there's all these beautiful warm red and brown tones. So I'm going to go out and grab myself some of these things shortly. So this is your Vata room. We seek opposites to balance. Vata is naturally cold and clear and whites and very light. So we want heavy and warm and comforting. Okay. This is a good example of a kapha space. So kapha refers to like early spring, generally, typically when it comes to the seasons. And this is a time like when we talk about spring in general, we think about the spring flowers and the cherry blossoms in May and things like that. When we're talking about spring from a kapha perspective, this is that transition part where there's not snow anymore, but there's not flowers. It's mud, it's congested, everything is very dense and wet. And when you're looking at kapha in how it shows up in humans is like congestion, heaviness, lethargy, fogginess. So we're kind of reflecting what's happening outside in our insides. This is why many people suffer from seasonal allergies when winter turns to spring, because there's this like congested quality in our bodies reflecting what's going on outside. So kapha wants to be stimulated. Kapha wants to be stimulated into movement. So you want to be opening your windows, getting fresh air in whenever you can, bringing in fresh flowers, citrus scents in your diffuser, anything that's like enlivening or, you know, things that are going to wake you up. We have vibrant colors, prints on the bed. I have here like dust off the treadmill, have these things out, set up your space to trigger yourself into making movement. Like April said, I'm never going to use my dehydrator if it's like gathering dust way in the back of the garage, right? So best color for kapha is bright red, and really all these vibrant colors great for kapha. If you put a pitta person in a bright red room, they are going to feel murderous, okay? But kapha, it's like they should eat some chili peppers and hang out in a red room, and they will feel more motivated toward their goals. So if you're kapha, you might want to go out and grab some bright decor. And you can think about this like in general from a seasonal perspective as well, because when you're feeling imbalance, when you're kind of applying a lot of the habits that we work on in everyday Ayurveda, you come to this point where you generally feel balance, and then you'll really start to feel how the seasons affect you. And so I do like to have, you know, a couple of throw cushions or a blanket or whatever that I can throw over my couch to just kind of balance myself with my interior decor. And then we look at our pitta space, or what would be lovely as a summer space. So for pittas, it's really good to have some like calm, think very zen, think like your little yoga dog, Amanda, out on the table. It's great for pittas to be operating just by natural light, allowing as much light to come in from the windows as possible, and even as far into the evening as possible. In summer, it's a great thing to try to just operate by natural light, and when the sun goes down, that's when you go down as well. And then cooling visuals, not anything too overstimulating. In the summertime, it's hot, there's a lot of color, everything's very vibrant outside, so you want to create the opposite, the sense of balance in your home. So for pitta, we do like those clean, beachy vibes. We like a lot of plants. If you can bring more of the environment into your home to give yourself that grounding feeling. Pittas were very fiery. We want to just go, go, go. We want to be achievers. And the best possible medicine for a pitta is to go outside and put your bare feet in the soil and remind yourself that you're just here being part of this earth, right? Green, blue, white, and then also soft pinks. A wonderful medicine for a pitta is things that are sweet. So sweet scents, roses, calming, cooling scents like mint would be good. And then the nice calming colors like soft pink, not like fuchsia. That might be a little bit aggravating or stimulating. Okay. I love plants too, and I have an intention of having more plants. Okay, I'm going to take a couple minutes just to talk about the energy of our spaces. This is an aspect that we don't talk about a ton in everyday Ayurveda. It's the concept of Rajas and Tamas and Sattva. Ayurveda teaches that there are 3 gunas. These are like mental energies that are always present in ourselves and all of the beings surrounding us. Rajas is the energy of movement and activity and change and passion and creativity. And this is the kind of, you can think of this as kind of like your mindset or the energy that you are holding in any given moment. When we have sort of a tamas or tamasic energy, this is the energy of rest, of darkness, of stagnation, but also like an energy of inertia, or like your ability to just go with the flow. And sattva is our energy of beingness, our energy of satisfaction and illumination and clarity. In sattvic mind state, you'll feel okay with what you're doing rather than thinking about doing something else. It's a state of purity of mind, expanding beyond the chatter of worry and stress and chores and the small stuff, and being in a really present state where you can see the truth, not react to or deny it. And the essential energy and like some people say that our goal in life is to be always in this sattvic state, in this state of truth and contentment and stability. But Rajas and Tamas are needed in order to influence this space. Rajas increases our movement and Tamas slows us down. I like to think of it as our desire for presence. And we talked about this recently on a call with, I remember talking to Felicia about wanting to be in this heart-centered space and wanting to be present, constant in our lives. Like that was her end goal, is presence. And in sattva, we are present for the moment, but this state doesn't always serve us. We have so many things going on in our day. Like when I'm writing an outline for a workshop, I want to have creative fire stimulating me. When I'm doing my workout, I want to be like just motivated to go and get through it. Rajasic energy lights us up, and tamasic energy helps us slow down. After a day of taking my kids to an amusement park or something, the body needs rest and restoration. So the tamasic energy is what comes in to bring us down and allow us to rest. So when it comes to our homes, you can look at the different spaces in your home and think about the energy that you want to increase in each space. When it comes to the bedroom, does anybody have any questions about this? You can pop them in the comments. But I'll go through a couple of our spaces. The bedroom, you want this to have a tamasic feeling. And I should preface this with saying, not everybody wants their spaces to feel the same way. Some people want their bedrooms to be like a sex den, and you know, that's your thing. That's fine. Oh, thank you, April. I love this stuff. You know, Ayurveda teaches this concept of Vastu, which is like Ayurvedic interior design traditional. And I started looking into it for this workshop, and it's so boring. It's about like where, like how to design your home from like north, south, east, and west. And I just didn't know how to, like, I can't change the direction of my front door. So let's not talk about that. So the bedroom, we want ourselves to be able to feel grounded and calm and relaxed. And we want it to be like a dark space, a space where everything slows down for us, right? So I have passed out the slides for these, so I'll just kind of brush over everything really quickly because I know we're going over time. But just to incorporate some of the tools that we use in everyday Ayurveda into this discussion, you know, getting some of those blackout curtains, heavy blankets in the winter, light in the summer, sleep mask, and then those habits that April was talking about, like create a habit of making your bed every morning so that when you come in the evening, it's clean. Cleansing the space in the evening, putting away your clothes every night. It just takes a few seconds, and then you wake up in the morning to a clean space. I love putting my journal, my everyday Ayurveda workbook and worksheets right next to my bed, so I remember to look at them before I go to bed instead of looking at my phone. And a water vessel next to the bed so you can drink up and wake up and do your Ushapan in the morning. I want my office to feel Rajasic, and I would love to hear in the comments, when it comes to these spaces, how do you want these spaces to feel? So again, Rajas is the feeling of like clarity and movement and action. And then Tamas is like relaxation and stagnancy, quiet. And then Sattva is like a place of whole presence. So I want my office to feel clarifying and minimal, free of distractions, and also inspiring. I want to feel like awakened by my office space. So some of the tools that I use, good tunes. I like having my goals visible. I have my core values right here under my computer screen so that I can look at them every day. I have a vision board right on my wall right here so I can see, you know, what is my intention? Why am I here? Why am I doing this work? Why is this important to me? And also ergonomics is super important. You don't want to be distracted by how uncomfortable your chair is. The gym, for many has a rajasic feel to it. You want to feel invigorated, energized, motivated. So think vibrant colors and remove those distractions. Again, have motivating wall art, have loud music, a lot of the same things that were going on in the office. And then when we don't have a gym space that is dedicated, like none of us hardly do, right? You can set yourself up with little tools so that you still get your movement in. I have my sports bra next to my bed so that when I wake up, I put it on over top of my pajamas and I do 50 jumping jacks. And that's me getting a little movement into my life, because the idea, like, I'm not going to change my clothes. I want to just get up and move right away because I've been sleeping all night and stagnant, and you want to get your circulation going, right? So you just throw on the sports bra over your jammies and just do it. Remove the obstacles. Putting weights or bands next to your couch. This is a great way. I love habit stacking. I love watching TV. I talk about like turning off your screens all the time. I want to watch TV. Have you seen Superstore? It's hilarious. So weights, bands next to the couch, and I'm gonna, do some stuff while I'm watching. It's fine. I might give myself a full massage while I'm watching. It's good. Have a yoga mat next to your bed. So you wake up, roll out, do your 5 sun salutations. Easy peasy, right? How can we remove obstacles? Kitchen. This is a space where I think it's a good idea to bring a sattvic state. I think we spend too much time in the kitchen in a tamasic or rajasic state, trying to rush through the meal prep or dragging ourselves through the meal prep. And this is one of the basic needs of life is our sustenance, our food. And yet we treat it like it's an aside thing. It's something that deserves to be ritualized in our lives. It's one of the most important things that keeps us moving forward in our bodies and our minds. It keeps clarity in our mind and health in our body. The way we nourish ourselves, the food that you eat literally becomes the cells in your body. And I just don't think we give it enough mind space. Creating a kitchen that feels open to your rituals, that feels like this blessed place to step into, where you get to create these loving offerings to yourself. I think it's just one of the most important things that we can do. I like to have some vessels on display, like buying one bowl that you really, really love that you can enjoy your meals out of, or that one mug. Or if you are taking herbs or supplements, putting them out on your counter in a really lovely way, like take them out of the little plastic bottle and put them in a little candy dish or something really pretty, right? It makes it such a more loving experience, and we deserve to turn this part of our lives into a loving experience, because this part of our lives will never not be part of our lives, right? 3 times a day on average, you're in there, or you're nourishing yourself. Another sattvic space is the bathroom. And again, this is a space where we rush through getting our hair washed and our bodies shaved, or whatever it is that you like to do in the bathroom. This is the one space where you actually are pampering yourself, where you're taking care of yourself. So like, you can see my like laundry list of tools, but my bathroom is where I want to be most present with myself. That's the only time of the whole day that I get to hang out with just me and look into my own eyes in the mirror and see how I'm doing. I want to feel one with myself, and I want to feel grounded in that space. So candles, essential oils, massage oil, again, in a lovely jar. Like, just make it really pretty. Yeah, look at that bathroom, right? I love all the pictures too. But take that big Kirkland thing of Epsom salts and put it into a mason jar with some rose petals or something. Shower in the dark instead of with the bright lights on. Have your bath in the dark with candlelight. And again, pull in some habit stacking. stand in your shower and use that time for meditation instead of overthinking all the things that you need to do. See if you can just shower and breathe at the same time. And I always have a journal sitting on the back of my toilet. So when I'm pooping, I can write down what I'm grateful for.